The Venice Biennale, widely regarded as one of the world's most prestigious international art exhibitions, is once again welcoming visitors from around the globe. This year, the Korean Pavilion is drawing considerable attention as well. To learn more about this year's exhibition, we're joined by today's K-Correspondent Binna Choi, or Choi Binna, Artistic Director of the Korean Pavilion at the 2026 Venice Biennale, who is here in the studio with us. So welcome, Binna.
Hi, Binna.
Thank you.
So we're very happy to have you here in Korea, actually. So you are the Artistic Director of the Korean Pavilion at the 2026 Venice Biennale. But could you please tell us what was going through your mind on the opening day? So looking back at the opening day, how was it for you?
Well, now it's like about 2 months ago, and the public opening is preceded by the 4-day preview, open for the professional around the world, like critic, curator, collectors, and media, of course. So it has this vibe that everyone is here, and they are not just there, but they are like voraciously like roam through to see what's finally unveiling and evaluate and judge. So it's quite nerve-breaking that you, as an organizer, curator, and artist, present this to those who want to see and check. Other than that, it's there's a beauty in it. It's like kind of reunion of old friends and old colleagues and meeting new friends. And on that note, the opening of the Korean Pavilion was very special in the sense that for exact duration of the opening ceremony, the rain poured down. But almost nobody left, and everyone stood there throughout the event until Japan Pavilion also joined for co-celebration. So this is first time that Japan and Korean Pavilion collaborate together in the history of two pavilions.
Wow.
So that was moving.
Thanks for taking us back to that very special moment.
I know, it was nerve-breaking and also excitement joined together at the same time. So we do want to now hear about the central theme of this year's Korean Pavilion and why you felt that this was kind of the theme that you wanted to go at this year's pavilion.
The theme, as in the title, the liberation space, with the subtitle fortress/nest, and liberation space in Korean 해방 공간 refers to the transitional period in Korea from 1945, when Korea finally freed from the Japanese colonial rule, and for 1948, when 대한민국 government separate from the northern part was established. So as you can imagine, that you are very excited as a like new sovereign subject, but you don't have a government. So there are a lot to figure out while dreaming newly born nation. So it's exciting, but uncertain and challenging period. I thought this period is not only historical and actually reflecting the time that we live in, as we saw also in Korea, like just about 2 years ago in the winter 24 and 25, there was a like very sudden martial law, and people had to be on the street to put the order of the country back. So with the subtitle Fortress and Nest, I thought a fortress and nest referred to what kind of nation that we want to have. Fortress, that defending, closing down, and always in tension and conflict, or nurturing, taking care of each other, and eventually like flying. So it's a good time for questioning about that.
Very interesting and very deep as well, I would have to say. Speaking of deep, there are also some very interesting collaborative works at the Korean Pavilion. For instance, involving Nobel Prize winner in literature Arirang. So her sculptural work is also displayed there among other creative artists' works.
Right.
So how did these collaborations come out?
Right, 한강, the most famous fellow among the 5 fellows whom I invited so far. So they include independent writer and singer Arirang, farmer and activist Kim Hoo-ju, and a photographer Hwang Hae-ji, and also Rwandan artist Christian Yampeta. They all share their own way in different medium, a story of liberation space. So this is an extension or expansion of the collaboration that is fundamental for the Korean Pavilion, which is the collaboration among me and then 2 artists and sculptor Choi Go-eun and No Hae-ri. Together we studied and considered how to present the Korean Pavilion as a liberation space, thinking that the Korean Pavilion is very interesting and symbolic actually of Korea as a relatively new nation or nation in the making. And as a result that each artist brought something very exciting and meaningful. Should I go further on what Go-eun? So Go-eun installed over a dozen of copper pipes as if they are penetrating Korean Pavilion from inside and outside or outside and inside. So pipes there look like acupuncture needle. So it's a gesture to heal the architectural body, but also the body of a nation, as if by opening where it blocked. And Harry created a kind of membrane, like embracing membrane, along with the along the shape of the Korean Pavilion, which is very like embracing the audience. And in that she installed like 8 different stations for taking liberation as a practice. So there's a station for living and station for remembering and mourning, but also mending and sharing and so on.
Right. And Binna, what also stands out is the pavilion itself. The pavilion, the exhibition has been transformed as an experience for the visitors. Could you tell us more about that place?
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, because I wanted to make more than an exhibition. Exhibition, something that you look at from a distance, but I wanted to make it as something that you bodily experience and share and use it. So I say I wanted to use the Korean Pavilion as a long-term project to actually make the liberation space monument not only in Venice but also in Korea, maybe around the world. So there is like ultimate or long-term aim that is to materialize and install liberation space monument in the heart of Seoul. Actually, now I see the image of Gwanghwamun here, and one of the most exciting candidate, as I'm thinking, for the liberation space within Seoul is the U.S. Embassy. And I know that U.S. Embassy has a plan to relocate because the building is quite old, and whereas the Gwanghwamun is quite a symbolic and meaningful place for history of Korea and democratic practice and so on. So like imagining the future of the U.S. Embassy for liberation space is something that I like to invite people to think together.
Definitely. And so the Venice Biennale welcomes, a lot of people, as you've mentioned previously, for the opening day, but also like visitors from all around the world. So I want to ask you, what kind of reactions have you received from the international audiences, and were there memorable feedbacks or moments that stuck with you?
Yeah, there are a lot of like spectacle, and we enjoy spectacle, but Korean Pavilion is definitely not spectacular. But there's a meaning and reason for that. So one of the journalists from Korea News, actually she called it quiet rebellion. And quite a few critics kind of label it as a very thoughtful, one of the most thoughtful and critical pavilions.
I mean, there can be different definitions of spectacular, right?
Exactly. Quiet rebellion is definitely something that sticks with you probably. And also the Korean contemporary arts has been definitely growing, showing growing interest around the world as well. So in your view, what do you think is the most strong strength that the Korean contemporary art has?
Well, I'm still like insider and outsider because I've been working and living in the Netherlands for almost like 2 decades. So from this like your perspective, I think the diversity of language, diversity of artistic language, and the like dynamic intensity of the field with interest and passion for art is something very special. Yeah.
And Binna, what would you like the visitors to remember once they leave the pavilion? If there would be one thing you really hope for them to, remember for a long time?
Well, the life as well as the time we live in can be oppressive and troubling. So I hope that people remember Korean Pavilion as a quiet, beautiful and ongoing movement that we need for liberating ourselves.
Right. And before we let you go, you earlier mentioned that the opening of the Venice Biennale this year was in May, but it's still running. So could you tell our viewers who might be in the region who still want to, make a visit there, especially to the Korean Pavilion, could you tell them until when the exhibition runs?
So exhibition is relatively long, so it goes until 22nd November. So quite a few months left. So I hope you can make visit.
All right. Thank you very much, Binna, for taking us through the Korean Pavilion and the Venice Biennale exhibition. And yes, keep in touch. We hope to talk to you again about K-art.
Thank you so much for your interest.
And thank you, Bella. As always, we're going to have you back here soon.
Yes, I'll see you soon.